Welcome to the Medina Township Regular Trustees Meeting, January 18th, 2024. Will come to order. The time is 7:01. Roll call, please.
Mr. Christopher?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Eastwood?
Here. Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Join me in a moment of silence for the military, first responders, past, present, and future. Thank you. Little housekeeping, please silence your phones, and we're always going to be respectful. First item on the agenda is approval of payroll. Do we have a payroll?
I do not.
We do not.
There was an email correspondence that went back and forth, Bruce, between us earlier this week, and you knew there would be no payroll tonight. So this would have been as simple as the board calling for a special or emergency meeting earlier this week to pass a motion or resolution to include December 31st in the raises for the employees instead of having both paychecks and myself trying to jump through hoops to separate two payrolls, but you didn't wanna do that, so we're gonna release payroll on the normal payroll day, which is Monday.
This is not just another one of your stories, Fiscal Officer Ventura.
You say so?
And I'll tell the residents what it is. The fiscal officer called me on Monday and said, hey, we have one day in 2023 rates and the rest of it's in 2024 rates. And she said, could you make it all 2024? I can't do that, only the board could do that.
That's
So
what
I
I
said,
said, Bruce?
Fiscal Officer Ventura, I'm speaking.
I
So,
have.
Fiscal Officer Ventura, this is a trustees
Okay,
meeting.
please,
Just-
yes,
okay,
go
thank
ahead.
you.
Keep telling
So
me
then I
lies.
wrote to her
Okay.
and I said that we would have to pay the one day at the 2023 rates and the balance of would have to be paid at 2024 rates. Very straightforward. This is done every year. It's nothing unusual. Companies do it. Public sectors have to do it. Nothing unusual. We did go back and forth on some emails. I took this to the prosecutor today. He reviewed everything and he said I was 100% right. You have the resolutions that are needed. The resolutions were from 2023 and 2024. Those were the resolutions. They gave you the ability to pay at those rates. You don't need any more resolutions, you don't need any more motions, you don't need anything. You just have to do your job and pay it.
So on the record, you just told the entire audience that you said that I asked you to authorize.
You
Okay.
said, if you could do that, something along those lines.
No.
And you said it
You're
would
saying
be,
that on the record.
you said that it would be easier if we did that than to do the other. And you said something about, Jamie having to do something or whatever. The point was, I can't do that.
Bruce, you said
I-
I authorize.
Are you gonna
that,
pay the payroll?
And I,
Are you-
listen, no.
Are you gonna pay the payroll? That's
Bruce?
the bottom line. Are you gonna,
Bruce?
you have the resolution.
Shall we
Are you gonna
listen
pay
to
the
the
payroll?
phone call right now? Because I actually said you don't have the authority to do that, and I don't want you to get in trouble.
You did say that.
Why-
What, but.
Wow,
then-
what
no,
a
no, but
change
then why are
of
we-
a
why-
story. So who's
We're-
telling
we're done.
stories now,
We're-
Bruce?
we're
I
done.
would want
Are
it
you
done
going-
if
Are
I
you
were
gonna pay
you
the payroll?
too.
You've got everything you need. You have everything you need. Are
You are being
you gonna?
100% dishonest.
No, I'm not. Are you gonna pay the payroll?
Yes, you
That's all I
are.
wanna know. Okay, we're gonna move on.
The payroll is going to be presented at
Yeah, I know.
2:45 PM on Monday.
My payroll is split between the 2 years, and there was zero problem with the thing. Everybody knew that was gonna be on it. They paid the pay rate from the year before. and
We
it
have
was-
never done this. We've never done this, ever.
I'm saying my payroll.
We've always started the raises at the beginning of a pay period, always. Always, always. This is like the first time in history, which I don't understand why, for the employees' sake, you had one day in 2023. Why would you not just give them the raise as of December 31st?
We already
Why-
had
That makes
why
no
would we?
sense.
We had a resolution in place afterward. This is something that would have been known at, you know, you could have brought that up at the last meeting if there was gonna be an issue.
You do this at
My-
every organizational meeting, Chuck. I don't
actually called
understand.
Heartland Payroll, which is the payroll for my company. I gave them the scenario. And they said it's absolutely no issue. It's literally no issue whatsoever. And you're making a mountain out of a molehill. And that's about
That's
as
what
simple
they
as it
said?
gets.
Okay, I
So,
mean, I
I'm just
can't
saying,
help what your payroll company's telling you, but
Yeah.
I will tell you
Did you
what
talk to did somebody talk to the payroll about this?
I talked with Jamie, who is our representative for Paycheck, and Jamie said that she had talked with you, and she said that companies do it, she said, but you are a public entity, so that is a little bit different. I also talked with the auditor, the state auditor, and he said, absolutely, she should pay it, and he said, absolutely, what I said was 100% right. That one day should be paid at the 2023 rate, and one day should be paid, or the balance should be paid at 2024 rate. You had all this information, you've had it, but you told me 2 days ago that we're gonna have to have a meeting on Monday.
which is the normal pay date. That is the
So-
normal pay date for Medina Township. And you know what? Just so we don't have any more, like,
Oh, we always will.
issues with this, not being clear. From now on, no more releasing payroll early. No more releasing payroll on Fridays, because this obviously gets everybody screwed up in the head, so we will just release
It doesn't
payroll.
have anybody screwed up in the head over here.
Well, oh, Bruce, you just
There may be
told,
somebody, but it's not
you
over here.
just told a tale that was 100%.
Okay, we're gonna move on,
I
so we're
would,
not,
yeah,
okay.
All right.
I would
Okay,
want
so
to too.
the fiscal officer does not have payroll ready for tonight, even though she had plenty of time. Okay. The next item will be purchase orders. I move to,
Purchase orders and training requests. Yeah, number 3. That's what's going on right now.
okay. So, purchase orders and training requests.
Danny, do you have?
The only one I have is, I just talked to him a little bit in the meeting here, and I guess none of the blankets or purchase orders are opened up yet, so I had to get a truck fixed yesterday
Not none,
for.
some of them are. I've been working through them as quickly as I
Can you tell
can
me
with
if I
all
have
this other
repairs and
nonsense.
maintenance?
What?
If I have repairs and maintenance, this is a null point here, what I'm gonna be doing.
Like your last purchase order that I certified at the last meeting, that was open. But I mean, like I said, I've gotten through what I can get through. There's a lot that's been happening that, some of the board is aware of, some is not,
Well, I have a $985 bill for Stuber Springs that I got done yesterday. Should I do it then and now, or should I just pay the bill out of my?
Well, there's no, I don't think that that's one of the ones I got to. I don't know, without checking the system, I'd have to, I can't, I don't have everyone memorized any. So I can't tell you for sure, but,
So what's the best option here? I just don't wanna hold my vendor up for a month and a half to get paid.
I understand. I believe the best option would be to have me check where we're at, and we'll have to revisit it. They're going to have a
Maybe
meeting on
Can we
Monday
do- Can we do
for,
it Monday? Could you check before Monday?
yeah, I can check before
And
Monday,
put this on the agenda for Monday, if it needs to be amended now?
yes.
That'd be great, thank you.
If Chrissy can send that with the list of things for tomorrow, just so it's all in one place, that makes it easier for me, that would be great.
I got a purchase order all the way back from November for the car wash that you said that you had opened and everything like that. I have never seen that open one, but we're getting into a problem with safety with the cameras and the stuff being clogged up with salt all the time. Almost to the point where the chief actually washed the cars by hand this week.
That was Serpentini, right?
No, this was for the
What's the
Sergeant
name?
Clean.
Oh, Sergeant Clean, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yes, yeah, that was,
That was, we haven't, never seen it, is what we're saying. So, but do you have like, so are they allowed to make, they're allowed to make those purchases?
yeah, I
Just for
mean,
clarity.
again, Chuck, you're making me, like, you're trying to have me go back.
Oh, we split
a
them out
month,
last
right?
3 meetings, so.
And I don't think we talked about it, for 3 meetings, but I think we talked about it last meeting. And I said that the purchase orders that were issued, all were left on the island in the kitchen. So I don't know, I mean, what I have after I do that is I have the ability to track them in UAN, so I don't print them out twice, it's a waste of paper, I mean, I'm not gonna do that.
Right, but we've all, everybody here that's in this office said that nobody has ever seen them. And so that's why we're trying to say that you probably should print them out twice then, because as far as I know, between Denny, Elaine, Chrissy, and all of us, nobody has seen them here.
Okay, so here's the thing, can I have one of those forms, Doug, please? When the board issues a purchase order request, one part goes home with me,
Right,
and the carbon copy stays at town hall.
and we have the carbon copies.
Okay, so then I go home and I issue the purchase order within the UAN system, because
Right.
that's the only way to
And
tell.
then you bring back the printout that we signed.
Correct.
And that's the printout that we have not seen.
I'm not going to print out 2 of those, cause then you have to do a reprint of it, and where am I gonna keep the reprint?
You're gonna bring it here so that we can sign it, right?
Well, you're getting the first one, what you want?
We never
you
got
want
the
to.
We never saw it.
I don't know what's happening, there's been so many documents that have gone missing from Township Hall, but I can tell you straight up, I mean, my house is not a storage facility for all things township, so if I have it in my computer, why would I just do another document? I already have it in the computer.
Because if it can't be found, we need another one. So please print out another one.
Would you please
It's a simple
consider printing
request,
out an
right?
extra one?
So
It's not that much.
If we can't find them, then I believe we have a bigger problem, and the security needs to be.
We need that, please print it out.
Well, when I get to it, Bruce, I will,
I'm
but
on
there
that.
are more important
But-
things
but
going on here.
long story short, the chief is allowed to go, the police are allowed to go to Sergeant Clean and get paid, and we have
Correct.
a TO open. So you hear that, chief?
Yep.
Sergeant Clean, we do have a purchase order that's open, according to the fiscal officer, and we can go through that. It's on the record. I appreciate all your efforts this week and stuff and getting that.
Can we do the same thing for AJ's tree service for fire department trees that I turned in 11/9/23 for purchase order?
I believe those were all issued
That
then,
was-
those were
you're
all
saying
in
that was
the,
the same pile? I mean,
That was the same
gone.
pile.
there were a few that were not able to be issued, and I think they were ones that Chuck did, that weren't appropriate to issue at the end of the year, because they were for 2024 money, so those are, and we talked about those.
Well,
Those
we
were-
had talked, again, I'm not gonna, yeah, I had blankets on those accounts, and I knew that those were gonna be up at the 31st. So I opened up a couple purchase orders so that I would have money that would stray over in January, so I could pay some of the bills, like the phone bill and stuff like that, that were on a blanket. That was as simple as that, and we had talked about that when I opened up the blankets at the beginning of the year last year,
But that's
on
not-
why we were going to do the POs at the end of the year, just to cover January, because that was your advice.
But that's not how, you do, when you do the purchase orders for to a vendor like that, and we've talked about this every year, you turn in your lists at the end of the year, yes, but you do it as a group, you know, with all the departments, because putting each one on a purchase order separately.
I only did a couple, just to make sure that I had money that
Exactly, so
over
you're making my point for me. It's so time consuming to put like fire, for instance, that's what you did, right? On an electric, let's say purchase order, instead of doing the electric purchase order for administration, police, fire, you know, I might be missing a building here, but, so do it, and it's easier for the fiscal officer when inputting the purchase order and when paying the bill. A lot of these are gonna be left, we're not gonna use this up in the first 3 months, so this is not just for my sake, it's for the next fiscal officer coming in. When she goes to pay these bills, she's going to be able to import these purchase orders into the, you know, paying of the warrant, but she's gonna have to be importing 3 or 4 different purchase orders. It's gonna take her forever. I mean, why would we do that to somebody?
So, one thing, and I don't wanna, this is long enough on purchase
You know,
orders,
Bruce,
but
excuse me, hold on, Bruce, you asked for respect, but yet you let this man sit in the back of the room and laugh constantly. Why is that okay? Why are you not,
Chuck, would you go on?
yeah, that's not. So all I'm saying, I wanna just keep talking about, I wanna finish up this purchase order thing. Again, I had all the money in a blanket, alright? So on the 31st, the blankets don't roll over money-wise. The only reason I opened up those purchase orders were so that we had money in the beginning of January to pay a couple bills, and there was only a couple of them. So that was all, but the other fact is, after we did approve those purchase orders and pass them along, at no point did you ever say that you weren't gonna open them, that there was no need for it until this year.
because I sat here on December 29th and reminded you guys that you're supposed to have your temporary budget and purchase order list request turned in by the 1st. I said that, I was sitting right there and we had a discussion about
Purchase
it at
orders
the
though were
meeting.
back in November and December.
No,
or-
for 2024.
All right.
The temporary
Well-
budget.
But we got our car wash, that was really the main question, so we'll just keep moving then.
Can I just,
Sure, please.
and I apologize for everybody in this whole conversation, but there's just one minor unresolved issue that I would like to think we could ask you as kindly as possible. If the purchase orders that you claim were left here that nobody else has seen, would you be able to duplicate those, that we could have them back sometime when you get time within the next few days or week?
Well, when you say a few days to week, Doug, you have no idea how much is going on right now, things that we're gonna have to discuss today, so, but I don't think, I mean, let me just ask you a question. How much time do you think is reasonable to ask any one of us to work in a day?
I don't know, I probably had 4 hours in the last, I don't know if I had 4 hours today, Chrissy, but maybe, and 4 hours yesterday. And I'm just a lowly me, so
Okay.
And that's just
So-
as on township.
that's just on township.
Not to
side.
mention your work time.
Yeah, that,
Okay, I am at least triplicating that, if not more, every day, 7 days a week. So to ask for more than that is unreasonable.
and then I'm asking kindly to do it as quick as you can, and that's all I'm gonna ask, and I understand it'll be what it'll be.
We are so delayed, and there are some things that have to get done, and there's things that the board needs to be concerned about that need to be done more importantly, and that is what, you know, this, I understand that you're hung up on these purchase orders, but that is not, like, I know you don't wanna listen to the advice I give, but really, it's very important that you hear this. What you do with it, you know, that's on you, but it is very important that you hear what I have to say, so.
Anything else?
No.
We'll move to,
Just number 1.
yeah. Move to accounts payable, and this is resolution, this will be 17, Chrissy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I move to adopt, resolution, number 01182024-017 to approve accounts payable dated 1/18/2024 with the physical check numbers 33234 to 33258 for the total amount of $201,272.24 and incorporate this one-page document as presented.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Christopher,
Any discussion? No? Okay. Aye.
Mr. Eastwood,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
You're fine.
Chuck, while we're on accounts payable, following up from last week. The accounts payable for Medina Hospital for LST services, there was, I did the ledger, the receipt ledger. So this just looks just like a checkbook. We had opened a purchase order in the beginning of the year.
We open up another one too.
Yes, on June 8th. And so after spending down, that's where we were left with, it's here, but we were left with the $44,627 and we needed $45,321.21.
Say those two numbers again then?
So.
We were left with,
What we had available was $44,627.20. And what the bill was for was $45,321.21. Now, for some reason, my memory thought that there had been another purchase order
I
in
thought
like September, but I
there
had,
was 150,000 one in September.
well, I asked Chrissy to
I
go back and look too, because I couldn't find it in my minute book, but I did miss some meetings.
Yeah, I found it in, I breezed through those books back there, I could swear there was a yellow copy of 150,000
Well,
LST one in there.
so Chrissy sent me, she went through everything, she said there was 2 purchase orders, so just the one in the beginning of the year and the one in June, so.
Yeah, I could swear there's one in September, cause I counted the months and then figured out 50,000 for each month, so.
Like I said, I thought so too, but there's nothing.
No, we'll just, if you want, just pay on the 44,627 and I'll roll over the next part, so.
Well.
Cause even this one here, they had some issues with, bookkeeping and stuff like that with the end of the year and the new year. So they were, what was that? They were giving us the bill after the fact that it was a due date, so
So is this not service for November then? Because remember, that's just not something you can do, because it's when the expenditure was made, remember that, it's not just something you can just like roll forward, so.
I could swear I had a $150,000 one in September.
Like I said, when we talked about that last week, I also vaguely remember that, but I can only go on what's black and white right in front of me, I can't, so, that was just something I wanted, if you want this, I can give it to you, but I can't.
No, you could, if you would've let me know before the meeting, I would've looked up the things and seen it, but like I said, I specifically knew to do one, so. We'll have to look for it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be okay with waiting for the,
Yeah, I talk to them, all the time, so.
Well done.
I'm done.
Next item on the agenda, I make a motion that we move into executive session to discuss employee compensation. With who? Oh, the 3 trustees.
Second.
Roll call? No discussion, roll call.
Roll call.
Mr. Christopher?
Aye.
Mr. Eastwood?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
We're in the executive session.
Okay, you got it. You like it? We're back in executive session, no decision today. Time is 7:41. Next item, this department head comments. Denny, you have any comments?
I do. First thing I got an invoice from Linden's Propane. You guys probably aren't up to speed, but the back building back here has a generator that runs that whole building, and it runs on propane. We're not using the building no more. The bill's for $200 to have the tank, because we don't use a lot of propane. They haven't filled it since 2019.
Okay.
My recommendation is to send the tank back and to put the generator out of service at this time.
Give me one of those motion things, I'll draw it up.
She said if we call and get rid of the tank, we won't have to pay $200 bill. We'll just seal it off. Is what she told me.
Bruce, do you have the accounts payable list that you approved? Oh, you have it, yeah, I did, I just wanna be sure. Oops. No, I just wanted, yeah, I just didn't say it. Thanks, Lisa.
Danny, how does this sound? If I were to make a motion to allow Danny Miller to make arrangements to have the existing Linden propane tank removed that is currently located north of the old service/fire/police facility. This is to be done at no cost to the township. Does that work?
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion. Today's date, 1/18/2024, to allow Danny Miller to make arrangements to have the existing Linden propane tank removed that currently is located north of the old service/fire/police facility. This is to be done at no cost to the township.
Second?
Roll call, discussion, I mean, we're all good, thank you.
Mr. Eastwood?
Aye.
Mr. Christopher?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Danny, was that the other, didn't we always get a bill from Air Gas as well with that?
No, that's for my oxygen in the seven-ministry garage and
Okay.
propane for my forklift.
Okay.
We're just doing the ayes.
And I got one myself,
Yeah.
Okay.
purchase orders from last year.
Mhm.
I have money still left on, like my salt.
Yeah,
You still use that purchase order, correct?
yeah.
And the only other thing I had is about the blankets that aren't opened up yet, I just got some stuff that I need to buy, that's all.
And I'm getting to them as fast as I can.
Okay, very good, that's all I got, thank you.
That's all, Denny?
Yep.
Chief, do you have anything?
No comment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Elaine?
Just a follow-up for Medina Stretch Lab, the grand opening is still gonna be on the February 2nd, but she did give me a time, and that's at 11:30. So far I have Doug. Are either of you, Chuck or Bruce, available?
Middle of the day is kinda rough. You
Okay.
know, I'd have to get a little closer to the date, so.
And what time was that again?
It's at 11:30 on February 2nd.
11:30?
It's gonna be outside the ribbon cutting, but then she's gonna move it inside, and she would like one of you guys to do some type of a photo op on a Stretch Lab bench.
That could really be weather dependent. That could really be weather dependent.
On the inside.
We can do a photo op, but
So I said, I know I have one.
Like I said, it sounds like a department head's job, doesn't it?
So anyhow, but that's all I've got, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Alice would love to get scratched.
Yeah. She'll go for it, but that's all I've got.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Cozy Medical Mutual discussion. So, Trustee Eastwood, if you would,
I mean, just,
Yeah.
one addition.
This discussion has been going on for some time, and I'm not here to argue or to pit against one another, but I would ask the fiscal officer to tell us what she believes we need in order to get this approved. I thought we had it passed in a resolution at a prior meeting, and I think that I've submitted everything that was asked for. And so I would ask if there's a simple request of what we have to do to get this paid.
Okay, so first and foremost, we did have this discussion, and I think we talked about this at the last meeting, but just to go over it again, when I got back to make the payment, the computer that, the spreadsheet that has no private information on it, it is a last name and a dollar amount that breaks it down by department, and the 15% that is the employee's portion and the 85% that is the township's portion. The computer is not working. I had been having some trouble with that computer anyways. Lighthouse was going to work on it. It's not the computer that I use to, cut warrants. It's not the UAN computer, so it wasn't of the utmost priority. But they needed to get it fixed anyways. However, I had asked my assistant to facilitate that because me working on a computer with Lighthouse is not, the best use of my time, and that's something that I can hand off to my assistant. Lighthouse has not only refused to issue my assistant a township email address so that everybody can communicate with him, but they also have refused to work with him on the computer issue. They keep responding with they need to work with me directly. However, their reason is that they need to either do a remote session or have the computer at Township Hall, which this is like so preposterous to me, because either he can bring the computer to Town Hall or he can work with them on a remote session. There's absolutely no time with all the things that need to be done that, that he's not able to do, because obviously he can't do things in UAN, paychecks, those are things he does not have authority to do, that he can't work with Lighthouse to get that computer fixed. So, they claimed that Doug had instructed them. Now, I have two separate conversations here going on. They claim that Doug had instructed them not to do anything for me. And then claimed that when I asked them to set up, you know, the email for Mr. Hawker, that Doug had told them that he needed, that it had to be trustee authorized, which, you know, we've not ever had that happen for any
How about
employee.
this, I've read a lot of emails going back and forth. Why in the world can't Mr. Hawker come up here and sit down with the lighthouse person and have it done in probably 15 minutes?
Well, that's what we were trying to do, but they won't work with him.
Oh,
Lighthouse
they
Lighthouse
will.
said just bring
Oh, they
up,
will.
they said, bring the laptop here and they'll work on it, just schedule a time and they would come up here. I read the email, it was pretty black and white to me, bring it to
Well-
town hall and we'll fix it and then you can pick it back up, or you can have your dude.
Well,
Do
this
it.
is the thing now, so Mr. Hawker contacted some, you know, he's got his own connections and he figured out a way to try to get this document pulled off of my computer, which took some time. The problem with this being now that when I went in there and I was following his instructions, there's two versions of the document, which was concerning in of itself, because one said that it was modified on August 15th, and the other saying it was modified on 12/23. Well, neither could be true, because the last time I used that document was to make the payment for the October invoice, and that invoice was paid on October 30th. So that the last time I was working on the document, it was modified on October 30th. So I don't want Lighthouse touching that computer again. I don't want, and Lighthouse has absolutely no authority to work on my UAN computer. I've notified them as such, and we did pull the document, we pulled the one document that's modified on the 15th, the August 15th. I will be having that reviewed, because I don't know, this is the thing now, because somebody's been in there tinkering around, I don't even know if the formulas have been changed. That's the problem.
Who had access to the computer?
Lighthouse Security had access to the computer.
So you're accusing Lighthouse of manipulating things.
I am saying that the document has been modified on dates that I did not modify it,
Okay.
so,
Well, I would really suggest, is the computer working now?
no.
Okay, then I would really suggest you get, your assistant to come up here, meet with Lighthouse, they can resolve it, and we move on.
Just to address a couple items, there was a comment made that I told Lighthouse not to service you or your computer, and that's simply not true. We talked about that at a previous meeting. I even read the emails from Lighthouse regarding that remark. They allegedly, talked to your assistant and tried to find out what was wrong, and he said, I don't know, you'll have to talk to Angela. So with that in mind, they're like, I think let's just talk to Angela and we can walk through it. I think they were of the opinion this had to do with a UAN computer. You're saying that's not true, that's okay. I don't believe that they would not be willing to come here and meet with your fiscal assistant, and they are our IT people. I don't believe there's any other IT people approved by the township.
Not that I know of.
So I would highly recommend you consider engaging them and have your assistant come here, and try to work it out. Now, if you have another company that you wanna recommend, is that what you're saying, or am I hearing something different?
Yes, I wanna go to a different company.
Then we'll have to go through the process of that, but I don't know that that's gonna work time-wise.
Well, the UAN computer of itself, UAN actually prefers to service that. They were not happy to have us go to an outside company anyway, so I will be just going back to UAN on that one.
But you haven't contacted UAN as of yet, correct?
I've
on
talked
this?
to UAN several times about this, yes,
Okay.
so,
So this is not the UAN computer, it's just a computer
correct,
that you need to,
Is it a township computer?
yes.
okay. Then I would go back and say, Lighthouse is our vendor. They've worked with us for years. They've been very good. It's a decision that the board has to make. And so I would recommend, strongly recommend, that we work through Lighthouse, a time be set up, and your assistant come up here with somebody from Lighthouse, and we work through it.
Bruce, here's the thing. I was on my UAN computer the other night, and there was a remote session going on from Lighthouse Security, and again, I have documentation of this without my authority, without my permissions, going on in my home. There was a remote session active, so
At what time?
it was pretty late, actually.
And it says it's from Lighthouse on it.
Mm-hmm. They call themselves the Keeper, and it was Team Viewer remote session, and it was open and active at that point. And, you know, Doug, I don't know what,
What was the time? I'm sorry.
I'm doing it right now. Monday at 10:05 p.m. So, this is the thing, I don't know what you're being told, but what I was specifically told on a phone call is that you told Lighthouse not to do anything for me. And then I was told again that you told Lighthouse that they were not to establish Mr. Hawker's email address. Now, if that's not true, then why is his email address, he's been working for us since,
That's two separate things.
Yeah, cause I got a problem with the working part too, so you may wanna.
So I would say that wholeheartedly, I said, do not open the email account. I think at the time they brought it to me, I didn't even know Mr. Hawker was working here.
No, we still don't.
when have they
And-
brought any employee's email address to any of the
A
trustees?
question I would ask is what employee that has received a paycheck in Medina Township that has an email account does not have an employee package signed and on file in our office?
There was an employee package signed and on file. He wouldn't have been an employee previously had he not. So where did that employee package go?
There's a lot of stuff that's missing out of this office. We found that over the last several years, but this is a new hire. It should be a new employee package.
And we
Well,
already stated that.
when we bring seasonal employees back, they don't
You mean,
fill out.
you mean
He's not
Mr.
a-
Hawker couldn't come down here and pick up a packet?
I didn't say that. What I said is why, if we're treating him differently than
We're
other
not treating him,
employees.
he resigned. his
He
position.
resigned, officially resigned. It was read at a meeting. In fact, I think you read it.
We've done that with,
And it doesn't matter, so.
we've done that with
it
the
does-
service department employees. They've resigned and come back and you didn't make them fill
Well,
out
no, I mean, we
packages.
I would just say, well, I'll make a motion that in order for me to even recognize Cliff Hawker as an employee, he has to do what every single employee in this township does and get the packet and sign off on it, give us the information. And then also, yes, you're allowed to hire somebody, but it's also stated that the trustees set,
That is incorrect.
approve your budget. The
And-
fiscal
And the
office
fiscal
budget.
officer's budget was
And we
approved.
never approved your fiscal officer budget.
You approved it when you did the tax budget, Chuck.
When was, so we made, you haven't shown up to one
Budget meeting.
budget meeting in over a year and a half.
But the fiscal officer expenditures were still
The
included.
fiscal officer expenditure was, your pay at $30,000 was the only line item on that account.
It's included, it's still there.
So we have never set, or anything, a budget for having a fiscal assistant for you. We didn't even know you had a fiscal assistant until you popped them onto paychecks without telling anybody. And all we said is, what's he getting paid? Because we haven't appropriated anything for him.
It's
Not-
already appropriated. There was no change in the appropriations. I think that's what you're not understanding.
I know, I read the ORC pretty good. And we have not appropriated any money
It,
for that.
it's
And
already
so,
appropriated, what
what line
words?
item are you paying him out of?
The fiscal officer's salary line.
That salary line is for the whole entire year for the fiscal officer and the next fiscal officer.
No, I don't think you have to, temporary appropriations only take you through March 31st of 2024. That is the law. So you're wrong.
But we're, we're off track here.
Yeah,
We have to,
but I did make a motion,
right, go ahead and make, yeah.
I
make
did,
it. Yeah, go
so I'm
ahead.
saying that
Yep.
for us to recognize this person and they have to go through everything that all the other employees have.
But when Denny has brought people back after they've resigned, that was okay? So when you say everybody, you mean everybody that you choose
Don't,
to jump,
No,
they jump through hoops?
no, don't gaslight me, okay?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking, but you're putting words in
don't discuss.
my
I
mouth.
mean,
Move for second to that motion.
Yep,
I believe they have to do tax forms and everything when they come back, right?
no.
we have to have an employee
The
file,
only thing that,
And we don't.
yeah,
And
asked
it's
for is if
black and
their
white.
taxes have changed,
Write it up and
we
move on.
verify that,
When they
but
fill the forms out.
nobody. I just don't think it's right to discriminate.
I'm not discriminating.
Well, that's exactly what it is. If
If-
you're not treating
if you're-
everybody equally, that is
That is exactly
discrimination.
treating everybody equally.
Really?
Just-
If you're not doing the same for every person, that's discrimination.
Don't get, write it up.
There's another item here, since we're still in discussion. There was, there's this power struggle thing going on, which is unfortunate, but if we get past some of that, I understand this gentleman was sent out to a police station in somewhere west where we received a sideways, lateral transfer. In the event that this Medina Township employee who's on official township business, God forbid, gets hurt or in an accident, without having his information here, without having any information packet-wise, the only person that would have access, or they're gonna call township if there's a problem, we're gonna be, I don't know.
Right.
I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think that's looking out for the welfare of our employees, even Mr. Hawker. And for that reason alone, I would think that the information packet that every other employee has would be appropriate to have. I don't think we're asking for too much, and I don't think it should be used as leverage just to get a email account.
I don't know how one has to do with the other, but I can certainly see your point there. I mean, Otarma has his information because they needed his information to bond him, but
So, I mean, we do it quickly, it would be Cliff Hawker needs an employee packet and all information needed for the employee folder. Do I need to get more specific in employee handbooks and policy books and, usually we have the employees sign up, and how in depth?
All in the packet, right?
It's all in the packet, right?
Well, yeah, he would get an employee township book,
That
has to
will
sign
take
off if there's
She'll
a
make sure that she,
bunch of papers.
Yeah, it's
bond
basically
papers.
everything that every other employee of the township has, okay, just so I'm clear.
And then it's, as a sidebar to your motion, once that's accomplished, we have no problem with allowing the email, correct? Cause then he's a legitimate
I
thing,
mean,
or,
I don't agree with the pay rate, I mean, we're paying them at a department head pay rate, but, that's, beside the point.
unfortunately, it's out of our control. That's the point at the moment. So I just wanted to make it
Yep.
apparent that we're,
Well,
we're not willing to provide an email. We just simply wanna have an employment packet like every other township employee has to have.
alright.
You wanna redo your motion, or is
No,
that,
it's the
that's the same
motion,
motion?
it's the same motion, I just wrote out, so, we already have a
You're gonna-
second.
We
on
have
it.
a second.
You gonna read it?
Yeah, I did.
Well-
So I'd like to make a motion that Cliff Hoffer needs an employee packet and all information needed for the employee folder.
Second. Roll call.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Christopher.
Aye.
Mr. Eastwood.
Aye.
Chrissy, would that packet be available tomorrow?
I have actually sent it by email to Angela already.
Okay,
So
so you have it.
I do,
If
I
got
think.
her, if you want me to send it to a personal email, I've done that before. To
So-
other people.
When did you send that, Chrissy?
Oh, I think it was.
Probably up to the last meeting, I would
Week or so,
assume.
yeah. I don't know exactly what you allowed it,
So you've had it for a week and a half, and, everything could have been done.
Bruce, when we talk about everything that's been going
I'm
on,
just
I
saying,
think you
that
should
could-
be
you-
less
You
worried
brought
about
this
that.
up, it could have been done,
What's your point?
so, okay, so that,
You don't,
as soon as we get the employee packet, then can something be arranged for Mr. Hopper to come up here with Lighthouse and get the computer running?
look, I am not going to deal with Lighthouse, I've already said that. So I will find out if the spreadsheet that which he, by the way, figured out how to pull off without Lighthouse's
I don't
help.
care.
We'll find out if it's been tampered with, and then they can have the computer back. I don't want it. I'm not going to deal with their nonsense. I'm not dealing with Lighthouse, that's it.
Boy, one other point, this whole conversation, I believe, started with talking about the Cozy Medical Mutual.
Yeah,
Yes,
So, once again, we're finding ourselves within a couple weeks of being terminated. And they need to have a payment, we've discussed values and amounts, and
so you wanted to know what I needed from, okay. So this is where, and Doug, to speak to your email, so this is all gonna just go on the record, because that's what we need here. To speak to your email, you'd said back to me, and I think the team, auditor team was copied on this, and it said that you think that I like the idea of making the payment, right?
it sounded to me like you were talking to them as if you were in favor of making the
Okay.
payment.
So I want to be very clear here. I am neither in favor nor not in favor of any one payment. What I'm in favor of is making payments that are lawful. That's it. I don't care what the payment is. I just want it to follow the law. So if I have a stack of 40 bills or 35, whatever's on the warrant list, as long as they are legal and lawful payments, I'm fine with them. This is not a personal issue to me. And I don't want what I have feelings about are personal things, not township matters. So I wanna get that real clear. So here's where my issue is that Medical Mutual was willing for the September and October invoice to write us a letter, the township that is, that said, here's an amount to take off of the invoice, right? I mean, it was crystal clear. But in December, January, they won't do that. So then it leaves you guessing, which I don't know why you had to guess, because there's a packet from our broker that says exactly how much everything is. But instead, you took a premium from last year and then you added an approximate 20% or something for a renewal, which made no sense to me, because that's just a guess. So it does leave me uncomfortable. I appreciate the fact that you tried something, unlike, what anyone else is doing, but to me, that's not the appropriate way to get something done. If Medical Mutual wants to get a payment, they should just give us the amount to remove from the invoice. That's it. They did it before, why aren't they doing it again?
So
That's,
to your point, the dollar amounts I was given when I did my calculations were from Homestead Insurance. It really wasn't a guess.
okay,
Our
well,
premiums did go up a little over 20%, so I did round our contribution up 20%. So it went from what it was at the $980 some that they allowed us previously to $1,070, whatever that number was. It was 20% more, because our premium went up 20%. So that, and they were okay with that. So that's what, you got that email from Mark that said it looked fine. And at that point, if Medical Mutual says it's okay, then I'm struggling with why we gotta go back and ask them to produce more paperwork. If what you're telling me is, if they'll produce an invoice that's gonna say this is $65,000, it's roughly the current invoice, for 2 months, plus fees and so forth. And that this is the amount you can take off of each month's premium. They give you a premium for each of the 2 months. And you can take off this much for this month's premium, this much for this month's premium. And then you know if there's some other fees in there, if that has to be added to the premium or not. That's hopefully something that you're familiar with. Would you be willing to pay it? I mean, I'll go back to the thing, but, you know, they're not, I just need to know if that's what you're asking for, that's what I'll go for.
that is what I'm asking for. Now, when you say, am I willing to pay it, as long as the math works out, yes, I can't promise, if it's incorrect and I can't make it work in the system, like, there's nothing I can do if I'm in UAN, and if there's, you know, if we're talking about a difference and I can't make it work, then there's, you know, you can't ask me to perform a magic trick. That's not, it's not like writing a check.
We're not asking you to take any more money away from any employee, and any money that we're short, they've accepted that would be a short payment. So I'm struggling with why, you know, and if what you're saying is you have the number, if something's wrong, that must mean you think there's something that's right. If you have the number, will you give me the right number that I'll go back and talk to them about?
I actually don't have the number, I haven't,
Then
cause
how do you know something's wrong?
Yeah, if you don't have
I mean,
the right, how do you
well, we
know?
know that, because nothing's been removed from the invoice, so I know something's wrong, but
They're simply not ever gonna remove something from the invoice. That invoice is gonna carry over, and we're gonna owe them that difference until.
I understand, I'm sorry, they didn't, let me be clear, they didn't send the letter that they sent in for the September and
So
October.
basically,
invoice.
have them send another letter like they did, and use that letter as reference, and say, this is what she's looking for, because the auditor said you can make the payments as is, you know, and you can note your objection, and then you can adjust when necessary at the end when it's settled. It was pretty simple what the auditor said. And he says, you know, I don't think this can be said any differently, I'm stop repeating myself. So, if we can get this letter, we'll use the other letter as reference, show them that, and see what they say, but we can't
I will
force
do my
them to
best.
do it either, you know? They're the ones that are giving us grace, and we just keep sticking it to them.
But as far as the 15%, you made that comment, can't be more than. It seems like you might have a number that we can present, or.
I don't, Doug, because again, it was just today that Cliff was able to, hopefully, I mean, like I said, the spreadsheet is on a flash drive right now, but there was very limited time between that happening and the township meeting, I didn't even open it, so.
Well, I will engage with Medical Mutual again. I know that Barb was not happy with your last conversation with her, so I will talk to her and see if I can get what you're looking for. And I just know that when and if the time, I mean, like you said, the auditors is in favor, the prosecutor gave you an opinion. Everything has been done, to allow you to do this without subjecting yourself to liability. If it doesn't get done, I don't know what else to say.
Well, I understand, I mean, but there was another note on that, an email that said that they're keeping Medina Township active with the understanding that the new fiscal officer is going to
Well,
pay
why don't you-
everything.
No, we're getting
Well, that's what it said.
As
But we
trustee
have to stay
Johnson
current.
said, and trustee Eastwood said, the auditor's letter to you was very explicit. Pay the bill, no, it was pay the bill, the worst thing you can do is not pay the bill.
Did you
You
read
might
it?
have, you might have two bad options, but the worst option is not to pay the bill. They said, pay the bill,
Bruce, the auditor said that you may be non-compliant with the law to keep a relationship with a vendor. I will never not be compliant with a law. That's it, never.
and the bigger law would be not to pay the bill, and it puts you in harm's way also.
Okay.
Wait, are we talking about, what does that mean,
We've,
Bruce?
we've talked about the cozy. I will try to give you
What?
what you're asking for.
Fine.
What does that mean, puts me in harm's way?
You
You
didn't
know.
say harm's way.
Yes, he did.
It
Yes,
would-
he
yeah,
did.
It would be for legal ramifications.
Any kind
that's
of
all.
legal ramification, if you're not paying the bill, and,
Puts me in harm's way. Unbelievable.
no, not,
Wow.
wow, okay,
Go on.
yep. Okay.
Other end is all good.
Yeah. Time is it?
Do we have any other?
I'm not, I wanted to go over stuff, but at this point in the meeting, I'm not interested in going over any of those. We know there's a lot of unresolved invoices and the discussion's not gonna be much
Okay.
different than what we just had. Those are the unresolved issues. Let's just not get into those. You can read them if you like, so they're on the record.
Maybe we should, I just really want this one. The only thing with this. As
Hey,
trustee,
you know,
as trustee.
Objection, point of order. The three of you can't be whispering up here.
Okay,
This is a public meeting.
right, okay.
You can't, the minutes cannot be written and you can't be whispering.
Okay. I will read the unresolved invoices.
By the way, what she's saying or whispered was you can go ahead and read the unresolved
Right,
invoices, so,
Right.
for the record. there
for
you
the
have it.
record. The first unresolved invoice is Akron Uniforms. It's for amount of $115. The second one is Perfect Voice and Data. This is from Medina Township Police Department. It's for $385.81. To me, this is an important, they're all important, but to me, this becomes sort of critical to get it paid. The next one is for Perry and Associates. And it's for the amount of $3,450. Oh, I should have, the first one, go back, first one is from 10/13 for Akron Uniforms. Perfect Voice, that is from October 4th. Perry and Associates for this $34.50 is from, where is it here? September 15th. And this is also a copy of it, I guess. Oh, it's a new one.
It's just an
Yeah.
update.
Yeah,
It is just an update.
yeah, so it's, again, it was Perry and Associates. So,
When were the purchase orders for those from?
I think there's a resolution on the Perry one some time ago.
Months
The
ago.
purchase order was issued prior to the bill,
Months ago. Okay.
was it, or no? I believe the answer is no.
I believe that's been discussed. I believe that that is with accounting and legal fees, and I think that we had a blanket, but it's something that comes from the state of Ohio, so. Still needs to be paid. It's a bill.
Yep, the next item, this is, new business. It's approval of department reports for December. I'd like to make a motion to approve December 2023 department reports. The police, it's single-sided 3-page, zoning is double-sided 6 pages, service is single-sided 1 page, fire is single-sided 1 page. Roll call?
Mr. Christopher?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Eastwood?
Aye.
Is there a total number of pages there, or no?
11.
A total number of 11
Total number-
pages.
Sorry, total number 11 pages. Next item is the Otama invoice discussion. So I move to adopt resolution 011820240018 to approve the Ohio Department of Transportation 2023 Township Highway.
Two different things.
Yeah.
The Otarma
Oh,
is,
I'm sorry.
okay? That's just a discussion.
Road.
Oh, you skipped.
So we can,
It's just a
I
discussion.
can run with that Otarma if you like.
Pardon?
I can run with the Otarma.
Okay, go ahead, all right, yep.
So we received an invoice from Otarma, and it
Okay.
breaks things down by departments, and there's a section of general. And in the past, there's been some confusion on how that gets broke down. I talked to Wendy with Otarma, and she said that they would break the general down between your roads and bridges, your police department, and your admin. It's not how we did it last year. I think we kept it separate last year. So my only point of discussion is I would like to, apparently we're gonna be meeting here Monday. We can break out what Wendy recommended, and we can break out what has been done last year. But I would like to move on approving making a motion to approve that, so next time we're together, cause that is, it's something they billed us on one day, it was due the next day, and she's like, that's not a problem, just make sure you don't dawdle. So, that's all this was for.
Alright. So, just, guess what? On the agenda then for-
When did that come? Usually we get that bill in October, November. I've not seen it yet.
No, that bill just came a couple days ago,
It's due usually by January 1st.
and it came like the 29th or 30th, so, yes, agreed. That's why they're open, they're not worrying about it, but they need to get it processed, so. My hope is that I can work with Chrissy, we'll get what Wendy recommends, we'll get what we did last year, so that we can all look at that the next meeting,
That'll, on Monday.
on Monday.
Yep, okay,
On Monday, Bruce.
yes. I'll get that. Okay. Then the next discussion is, PNC. So, we've had trouble, challenges, whatever, with PNC for 2 years. And in the last meeting, things, fiscal officer Ventura said that she was able to clean some things up and, recommends, closing the account. Is that accurate?
Yeah, there has been a development since then. I don't remember if we had the money refunded at the last meeting yet. I just don't remember where we were at, but you know, all those fees that had been charged
Right.
were refunded. And, but they still did not know how our account got switched to this other account that,
But you found out last time that trustee Johnson is one of the people on the account, so he can access the
well,
account.
he's on the account, but he never, they show, and I know you say differently, but according to PNC records, you've never gone up and signed the card, so.
No, I was there on Friday and I ran the computer, he said you can see my signature, so.
Okay, well, that's, I mean, that's not what they're telling me, so I can only go on
No,
what,
I
you
guess
know.
I went up there and told them the same thing, and they're like, no, you're right here, is that your signature? And I was like, yep, kinda looks like me,
So,
so.
this is the thing, the account that we're in is they do a corporate analysis on our account, cause they consider us government, you know, and that's why we're getting these outrageous charges. And we will continue to get them. She had said, the branch manager said she'll refund them every month, but since we don't use the account, you know, my suggestion still would be to close it. You know, we had a situation this last week with the health savings account checks, and there was the idea of using the PNC, checks in a crisis, but the problem with that being that we can't put those into the UAN system, so we would have had to handwrite those and then use the Westfield checks anyways, and I'll explain what I mean with the Westfield in a minute, but, so, I just don't think
But it was cleared up in January, correct?
what was cleared up in January.
The PNC account was cleared up, you got the money back, and so everything is good.
Yeah, I like I said, I think we had that, I have notes at home on it, but,
So,
but I'm saying, like, we're gonna have another fee
Yeah, it's just.
Right.
by,
No.
on the 31st if we
you
don't.
know, but you have access to it now, you can talk to
Yeah,
it.
Is this-
I was on there.
Okay.
Is this the only PNC, is there only one account or do we have multiple accounts with them?
We have one checking and then we have the credit card.
One checking credit card, and what are you talking about, what would you're recommending we would,
Close the
obviously you
checking.
just close everything, right?
No, you close the checking.
Well,
'cause
I don't think you wanna close the credit card, cause
yeah.
that's what people use to,
I mean, moving forward though, if we don't have anything there,
what's the bank manager's name?
Maria Wolf.
why wouldn't
I
you,
might just
why
talk
wouldn't
to
we
her.
wanna move the credit cards over to Westfield where everything else is?
Well, cause they'll even tell you they don't have a good program, so.
Let me see, I might
Well,
stop
and I'm
over
gonna-
talk to her. just-
There's going to be we have to have a discussion about Westfield. That's fairly
You know,
serious.
I
but-
just question closing the account. We've got, audit, excuse me, audits coming up. And I just wonder if they wanted to see something, if it would make it more difficult to see it if we close the account, if the auditors wanted to see something, I don't know. But, you know, for 2 months, we're gonna have, state auditor, as I understand it, they come in and do like a 2-year audit.
Well, I'm planning on asking for an exit audit as well, so I mean, they would be coming in for the,
So,
Alright, so.
I wonder if we should keep it open till after.
Yeah, right now, I'm not worried about closing it, but I would like to talk to Maria Wolf about, you know, the fund and stuff like that, and just kinda get
Yeah.
the lay of the land on there,
so do you want to be in charge of calling and making sure these fees get reimbursed every month? Cause
Okay.
Chuck, that's just an extra, they're going to charge the fees every month.
Right now though, give me some time to talk to her and then I'll report back.
Okay,
I just
that's
thought
fair.
It's pretty simple.
So, do you wanna talk about Westfield right now, since we're on this banking discussion?
Yeah, I mean, it's not on the list, but.
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
this was this morning that this happened, so, so this kind of initiated on, what day were we all up here, the Friday, right? The HSA, when we had the
Yeah, it
meeting,
was
was that Friday?
And Saturday,
And so,
and Saturday, I don't wanna mumble.
So, our account, because we haven't gotten our property taxes in, for a while, had been getting it was at about just over $71,000 in our checking. We have about 6.3, don't quote me exactly, but $6.3 million in our savings. When we made the resolution after our account was hacked, and they hit us with those fraudulent charges, we had changed remember we had made you voted to make the resolution to keep no more than $1 million in the checking account, right? And so what I would do is always transfer either out of the checking or, back in if we would get low. And usually there's only 2 times a month that you get low, or 2 times a year that you get loans, right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, this is one of those times, just because we went a really long time without a big deposit from the last, property tax deposit. So when the bank manager had recommended this savings account, with the higher interest rate, went through all the paperwork, everything seemed great. And it has produced the way, we were told. The one thing though that went wrong was that I was no longer able to transfer from the savings to checking or vice versa. And so I contacted him right away, and he said, yeah, you can see the balance, but you have to go to a different site, and it does. So he's like, but I'm able to do that at any point, right? So he's like, just contact, and he contacted me, and he has been doing that. So when we wrote we had these big checks to write for the HSAs, it was gonna leave us like really, really short. I had contacted him right away on Friday. He called back, said, yes, don't worry about it. I will transfer the money Tuesday morning. Okay, so.
This is coming up. It's not on the agenda. I think we should see things and be a little bit more
So
prepared.
basically you say that he transferred it on Tuesday.
No, he did not transfer it. And so I sent him an email, nothing back. The account went in the negative this morning. And then he sent me an email that said, Angela, please sign and return by 12. And it was a document saying that I wanted to withdraw $500,000 from the Medina Township savings account. And obviously my answer was no effing way, right? So, I mean, come on now.
No, what way?
No way. So, now they've made transfers for us before, and I mean, I would never that's ridiculous. So, there's a problem. I mean, and I contacted him and I explained, he's like, well, there would be a paper trail, and I said, I don't care. I mean, I'm not signing my name to a withdrawal. This is just absurd. And I said, and you've transferred the money before, I don't understand, like, what happened to that? And he's like, well, I can do it, but yet he's asking me to sign a paper that says I'm withdrawing this money.
Well, should it say withdrawing it from one account and then depositing it into the
The
other
paper
account?
trail would show that,
Right, but that's not what this says.
but the paper trail says.
So, I think I brought up the fact that, we used to have a different rep there, and since he has now moved on to a different bank, there's been, quite a few problems with just getting fees that we're not supposed to have. Yes, they've been reimbursed, but it's constantly, it's taken a lot of time to deal with this, but this is definitely a concern. So,
My input on this would be, it is a concern, I appreciate you bringing it up. At this stage in our calendar year, I would not wanna make a major change to the institution,
No, I mean,
between now and March 31st. I think that then it can be noted, and I think we can address that. But I don't wanna change something like that this close to the end. It's my opinion.
I would agree, who else is on the account?
All
All of
trustees.
us.
Okay, no,
The electeds are,
okay, I just wanted to make sure.
and Jason Long is the contact there.
No, Jared.
Jared Long, excuse me, thank you.
None of that's been changed, though.
No, that's all
Okay.
there.
All right.
So what's the process, oh, just leave me on the cliff note here, is the money in the checking now?
So he
Okay.
transferred
That's-
and,
Alright,
and there's not gonna be any fees like for going insufficient, cause our savings does cover us for our checking, but, I mean, this is,
yeah, I agree with Doug, I don't wanna make any change or anything, I'm just glad it got transferred and taken care of, and, I'm good. That's all I got.
so you're gonna be putting, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna be putting the new fiscal officer into a position where every month she's coming in and having to worry about bank fees and be watching for those and having to have them reimbursed and,
She'll have a learning curve like anyone would when they start, and I think that we'll work together, and if it's, you know, that it's hers to take for the next 4 years, so let's let her make that choice and work with her accordingly. That's how I would look at it
well,
at this point.
it's, yeah, it's not about, like, that is actually not even a learning curve, cause that's just not something she should have to be dealing with. So it's just putting a lot more on her plate than she should even have to
Okay.
worry about. That's extra work for
So
her,
I
that's
appreciate
not
it.
right to do.
Yeah, well,
But,
Now you're out of the mileage one we were talking about a minute ago.
yeah, so every year we do the mileage thing as a
Yeah.
resolution.
The, number 12 is the, certification of, 2024 township highway mileage. I move to adopt resolution 01182024-018 to approve the Ohio Department of Transportation 2000.
can I stop you? Because 018 was already used.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Otarma was the,
Yeah. Start over. I move to adopt resolution 01182024-019 to approve the Ohio Department of Transportation 2023 Township Highway System mileage certificate. This states that the total certified mileage at the end of calendar year 2022 for Medina Township in Medina County was 43.887 miles as certified by the Board of Township Trustees or reported by the Director of Transportation in accordance with the provisions specified in the Ohio Revised Code, section 4501.04, and do mileage changes in the calendar year 2023. Medina Township was responsible for maintaining 43.887 miles of public roads. I will incorporate this two-page document by reference.
Second.
Any discussion?
And when I read that for my first time, I commend you. I had 43,887 miles.
Denny's crew was a lot busier that year. Okay, roll call.
I just have one question, what was 018?
Was that the
that's the Otarma.
That was, yeah, Otarma.
Who's
There
that,
was a
1-8?
resolution for
Oh.
that?
That was a motion.
I don't have anything written in the notes.
Was that the Otarma one, is that where you got confused with, reading the
Oh,
mileage
maybe, you
one?
know what, Chrissy, you might be right, I mean, I wrote it down, but then maybe they
So
didn't.
we can redo this as.
No.
Sorry.
or
All you have to do is amend it.
Just amend it.
To one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wrote it down and then,
No problem.
I actually wrote it down too, so. All you got, no, all you just say is amend my resolution to
I'm
read.
just gonna amend it to 0018. So I'd like to amend the previous resolution, 011 82024-019 to 11182024-018. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Can you read that resolution number one more time, cause I think you had too many more.
Sure, resolution number will be, now that it's marked out 3 times. The resolution number is 01182024-018.
Okay.
We good? Okay.
Sorry, I screwed you up on that one.
Did you second it? Yeah.
On the last page here, look, the board over here, gotta go up here, gotta have it. Alright, oops.
Mr. Chairman, are you ready for a roll call? on that?
Oh, roll call.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Christopher,
Aye.
Mr. Eastwood,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
That'd be great.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda are the fireworks 2024. And I'll just read this to you so everybody understands. 2023 and beyond. The city, along with Medina and Montville Township, provided 4th of July fireworks display at a cost of $15,000. This was split by each township paying approximately 17%, the city paying 66%. The fireworks companies have shared with the cost of labor and materials. Our displays have diminished through the years by keeping the same expenditure level. They've advised most communities are doing 20,000 to 25,000. And 2024 alternatives, 20,000 would the city be paying 13,000, and each township would be paying 3,500. 25,000 would be the city paying 16,500, and each township paying $4,250. Please discuss at your township meeting to let us know the recommended level moving forward, so we can get this passed by the Medina City Council. So, what are your feelings as far as, just to open it up?
My personal feelings are, if we were to do fireworks by ourselves, it'd be a lot of money.
Good.
The township, is grateful that the city spends so much money on it, and if we could help out a little bit, I'm fine with that. To be honest with you, I've been expecting this for years, so it was kind of a surprise, that it went as long as it did. I don't have a problem with increasing it, I'm open to discussion on which level you guys.
Whether it should be the 20 or 25, I mean, you're
Well,
open to that.
3,500 or 4,250 would
Right,
be our part.
right,
there.
I mean, yeah.
So you're talking a difference of $750
$750.
between the thing, which I don't think is.
I agree, is from the perspective that if we were doing anything on our own, it would exceed that greatly, just probably in the labor to keep it safe, let alone the actual production. I would be good with either level, and I too appreciate what the city is doing for us, and I think that the better program they have, maybe will encourage more people to do that instead of doing their own. But, I'm just saying, so I could go with either one.
I agree, I mean, we certainly couldn't do this by ourselves, it would be a big expenditure that we shouldn't
So,
incur.
to make our decision easy, we're all good with either one.
Yeah.
Let's touch
So-
base with Montville
So,
and see what cause they're the other ones that are sharing this cost with us. And if they're saying, hey, we'd like to do the 3,500, then I'm fine with that. If they say, hey, we'd really like to go to 4,250, it's only $750 more.
so we can,
Who wants to, who has the most, you wanna go for it?
I'll,
And we'll circle back at the next time we have a
Well, let's
chance.
put that on for Monday's thing, cause I know the city is in a hurry for
Is
this.
in a hurry?
Just
Okay.
so they can make their arrangements.
I'll call them tomorrow.
Okay, Chrissy, you got that for the, thank
So
you.
we won't make a motion now, we'll just put that on this for Monday. Where was? Okay. That is. So, the next item on the agenda, I move to adopt resolution, the last one was 18, correct? 19.
What resolution are we doing?
Pardon?
What are we doing?
What are you looking at? What is?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is fireworks, this is public, it went past it, public comments, I'm sorry about that.
What is that not a thing right there?
Yeah, this is, I was gonna do it during trustee comments.
Okay.
That's okay, so, I'm sorry about that, so we'll open a meeting, I make a motion to open the meeting to public comments,
Second?
and limit it to, 3 minutes to your comments, so, do I,
Roll call?
roll call?
Mr. Christopher?
Aye.
Mr. Eastwood?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Any public comments?
Name and address, please, for the record.
What?
Name and address for the record.
Okay, yeah.
And sign it.
Yeah, and sign it, of course.
Name and address.
Dave Shaneline, 2952 Pine Hill Drive, the township. You guys have a lot on your plate. Question for you, have you been able to do any investigation into the proposed noise ordinance that I submitted to you last 2 weeks ago?
So I actually went through all the still going through all the resolutions, and we do actually have some resolutions in regards to, the dogs and jake breaks on certain roads and stuff like that, so I'm trying to actually look up the whole entire resolution.
Okay.
To see what that curtails and how we could allocate it towards your issue. So that's where I'm at in the process, but it's a lot to look through. So, and it's not gonna be something that's in a week or so of everything that's on our plate, but I did sit down for hours and go through resolutions and just see what's been in the past, so that we can move forward with maybe doing some type of resolution that would help with the situation, so.
And I'm going through it, and with Elaine's help, as trustee Johnson just said, there's a lot of things find out that you can't just pass a resolution, depending on what you're gonna do. There's a lot of other things that we may have to do as a township. I've also met with all 4 residents up your way. I did meet with the other people, I took the time and met with them, not sure whether it was Sunday or Monday, and talked with them. So we are looking into things, we're doing different things, but it's not as simple, we found out, as just passing a resolution.
And Chief, do you have anything you'd like to comment? I know if he doesn't, I know the chief has been also doing some due diligence as well regarding that. And
I've been working on it pretty much every day since last meeting. Today, I actually went out to Thrill Motorsports up there on, behind, the Harley dealership. Stinger Highway, spoke to them regarding, you know, the noise and levels and what we could do to try to, you know, quiet those things down. So, they gave me a lot of, websites to research, so that's what I've been doing on that. I've also received numerous, resolutions from other townships, and I've been going through those too, so, yes,
So, hope that answers your question, we're working on it.
And the second thing, at the beginning of the meeting, the fiscal officer said she's working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and she didn't have time to make copies for the trustees. I would volunteer my time. She can email me the purchase orders, I'll make them on my copy machine and I'll deliver them to you. Or I will go to her office and pick up hard copies and make copies for you. So if you want me to get involved in making copies, I'll do it.
Thank you.
thank you. Afterwards, I think we already got your email address, but if we could talk to you afterwards, just make sure we got everything we need, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Kurt Dix, 2920 Plum Creek Parkway. I think your comment earlier about harm's way, I think everybody here understands what you meant. Exposing yourself to potential liability. I can't imagine not paying the healthcare bill for the township. I think everybody in here would say, you pay the bill, then you worry about, you know, discrepancies and stuff afterwards, because you don't want to lose your healthcare. So,
Amen.
yeah, so healthcare gets canceled, Bruce gets the notice, has a heart attack, who pays? So,
Thank you. Anybody else?
Tom Bohr, 3747 Watkins Road, Township. Lots and lots and lots of things that are rather unusual of all the township meetings that I've been to. I've been here for 40 years. Mentioned to somebody today, I used to come to these meetings 40 years ago just to meet you folks. Because what goes on in these meetings is more entertaining than what's on TV. Nothing's changed. A comment for either Elaine or my friend. The truck facility that's been built there on 42, where the old junkyard was disgusting looking. And I had a comment somebody made one day about there's no landscaping around it because there wasn't any before. That's not true. When I moved in here years ago, I took more than one vehicle to that place to bury it. There used to be a row of bushes in front of that building. So if we can't figure out a way to make them put something in there rather than gravel, you're not doing your job, Alice. And I hate to say that, but it's awful. The open parking in the back looks better than the old junk that was back there. Only Bo Hattie could overstate that. And but it's not pleasant. We're a better township than that. See what you can do.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
Aiden Ventura, 333 Worcester Lane. Just to make one comment about last meeting, it was totally inappropriate what happened with all the laughing going around back there and all that stuff. Just wanted to make it clear.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Ray Jarrett, 3757 Fosket Road. My comments are directed to Angela Ventura. Angela, I emailed you 2 proper public records requests on January 8th of this year. They were clear and specific in my request, and I don't understand why they were forwarded to the prosecutor's office. You were elected to perform certain functions and responsibilities that are needed for the betterment of the public. You are violating your duty. You have failed the community. When you don't maintain your responsibilities, you can be found in violation of malfeasance in office and removed. You have willfully and intentionally acted in harming the roads department, the administration, the trustees, and the police department. Your refusal in certain financial transactions regarding the delay in payroll and the delay in payments to the healthcare premiums these past several months is not acceptable. Again, you have failed the community. In the Medina Gazette article posted in October of 2023, I'm going to quote, "The OPBA brought forth a letter at the trustees meeting to express formally the department's collective no confidence vote regarding Ventura's ability to fill her role as fiscal officer. In their opinion, communication and the ability to cooperate is sorely lacking," end of quote. I truly agree with their assessments. You have failed me. You have failed the community and all the departments in the township. This represents a systematic failure to attend to township matters and has exposed the taxpayers to significant and avoidable expenses such as an example, the almost $40,000 in legal fees because of your refusal to pay certain bills. At this time, I'm asking for your resignation immediately.
30 seconds.
End of story.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hey Ray,
Is there anybody?
was this
is there
because that
anybody else?
you hired your
There's-
friend
This is,
right after she
Mike
was out of
Casher,
office?
2934
That's
Hill Drive.
illegal,
You're out
Ray.
of, you're out of line.
I'm sorry, what?
This is,
public comment.
This is again embarrassing. I think we as a township are much better than this. That's for everybody.
Sorry.
Is payroll gonna be made on time? I didn't hear that it was.
If it's done on Monday, it's technically on.
Okay, so it's gonna be done on time.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm
Alright. Can I address the police chief? I think it's very nice of you to be washing cars with all the salt out there. And my car is really dirty. And I'm wondering if you might have a little extra time to stop by and help out a little bit with that.
Yeah, we couldn't see, my officers, they couldn't see out of their cameras. You know, if we get in a pursuit or something, they could.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Is the fiscal assistant an employee? This is a yes or no?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
Technically, they should.
But we need the packet.
go ahead, you were making a point.
So the fiscal assistant is an employee?
Of the township.
Yes,
Alright, good. So we're paying for that employee under the auspices of your full-time employee? You just don't have,
may not be full-time.
He's part-time.
well,
But-
whatever,
yes.
he's an employee. Gotcha. It appears that the stretch lab is gonna have this grand opening. I think you should move as a board to buy Mr. Eastwood some Lululemons for that day. I'd like just quickly with the medical mutual, what is the amount of the discrepancy on a monthly basis? The amount of the discrepancy.
In 2023, the amount was, I believe, $980 plus or minus.
Per month,
Per month.
per month.
Since our premiums went up 20%, that discrepancy likewise would go up 20%.
And-
Per month. So
And
And that includes the township's portion and the individual's portion?
that, yes,
Okay, just to clarify it.
okay, so what the township is responsible for is approximately $1,000. Is this for October, November.
The township's responsible for 85% of that, and then the person who's getting the healthcare is responsible for 15% of that 980.
Do we know what the amount is for each month?
It was 27,000 and change in 2023. I believe it's 32,000 and change.
Of
in 2024.
discrepancy, I'm sorry.
The discrepancy
Discrepancy
remains
is
that
only for
980.
October, November,
It would actually go all the way back to July,
to July. So,
Correct.
so 6 months
something of that nature.
and 7 months
I
at
believe so.
$1,000 approximately
Thank you.
is the discrepancy. And that's why we're not paying the health care.
Yes, you're at
The-
3
the-
minutes, but I'm just saying.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. I'm willing to loan the township $7,000 at 0% interest. So that you can go ahead and pay the,
I'm gonna have to ask you to sit down.
Yep.
I do.
Thank you, though. Thank you for the offer. Thank you very much. Anybody else?
I'll underwrite that.
Okay. Okay. I close public comments. Next, we'll go to trustees' comments.
Don't you usually vote to close public comment, or are we just making up our own rules
Pardon?
all the time?
Just relax. So make a motion to close the public comments.
Here we go.
Just make a motion to close public comments.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. Christopher?
Aye.
Mr. Eastwood?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Alright,
I think we got a good part of the meeting coming up, actually.
alright.
What is that?
And it has nothing to do with trustees.
Okay.
So trustee
The,
comments, right?
slowly coming up. I have a, so what was the, last resolution that we had? 19?
No, that is the one you're gonna use, 019.
This is 019.
It's the next one.
Okay. Okay. So I have a, resolution here. I move to adopt resolution 01182024 to allow an email address to be set up for fiscal officer-elect Bridget Painter. This will allow fiscal officer Angela Ventura and fiscal officer-elect Bridget Painter to communicate with each other on solely Medina Township system in order to smoothly facilitate the transfer of fiscal responsibilities.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Discussion, the number.
The number is wrong again.
Yes, the number should be 19.
019.
The what?
019.
019.
Oh, I thought it was, okay, I amend, okay.
Just amend the number to be.
I amend the number for, to 01182024
Second that. Then we, so
Any
basically-
discussion?
Yeah, you can discuss, cause it's basically getting her an account so that they can email back and forth
Exactly.
for the transition.
You know, I talked with, Bridget Painter, and, she would like to be able to communicate directly, with fiscal officer Ventura, and I thought that would be a good idea, and so that's where we're at, okay?
I think it's a great idea. Did you want her to fill out that packet first, since you guys made that motion earlier, said everybody has to do
No,
it?
she doesn't have to, she's not employed.
Did you fill out one?
Did I fill out one? Yeah.
Of course. She would need to fill it. Everybody would have to fill it.
You said everyone has to be treated equally.
Alright, so any other discussion?
Roll call. Roll call.
Mr. Christopher?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Alright,
Mr. Eastwood?
Aye.
As, trustee Eastwood said, this is sort of the fun part. And so I'm going, this is the Ohio Township Association Scholarship. So out of all the things, this is gonna be by far and away the most fun thing discussed this evening. So I'm going to just read this to you. and ask that gentleman to step forward. Hey, Caden, thank you for contacting Medina Township. Yes, we are having a regular scheduled trustees meeting tomorrow, January 18th, 2024 at 7 p.m. I'll add our trustees onto this email so they are aware of your attendance at the meeting. And ladies and gentlemen, there he is, right there. And so.
Get extra points for
So the application process filled out.
He had, part of the scholarship was he had to have the privilege of attending a township trustee meeting.
Are you gonna come back for more?
This is great. I'll tell you what, if you came here, I'd like to shake your hand for sticking it out. You come on forward here.
Let's all get a picture with him.
We got all kinds of signatures. Thank you for coming and staying. Thank you. Dad, thank you. And I'm sorry.
Sir, what they got in school?
Still excited. Oh, yeah. Where are you looking at? Bowling Green. Okay.
There's a scholarship out there.
Hard school. Wow. Stand up here and
We'll get a picture.
then we'll fill out the other stuff.
Okay, everybody ready?
Okay.
Just like to.
Thanks again. Thank you, Chris.
Better than Big Brother.
Anything else, trustee comments? Got a few signatures to do for that.
Huh?
Gets to go on that too.
I'd be happy to.
I have one thing. On my comment, I still have an officer, Brett Harrington. We had talked about transferring his sick time last time, and I thought everything was said and done, but I was going through emails today, and apparently through the grievance process, that has not been taken care of, correct? So, why is something like this not getting taken care of, that one of my newest officers has to already file a grievance with not having this transfer done?
Speaking to me. Now I'm permitted to speak, not Chuck.
Okay, that's fine. So,
I'll-
basically, we have another grievance coming towards us because something that we thought was
I've already
easy and
explained
done.
this.
Wow.
When there's 3 documents submitted that all look different, and you can clearly tell that they've been tampered with, I'm going to speak to that fiscal officer before anything is added. You should be concerned the way those documents look. If you looked at them, did you look at the documents?
I saw them.
And you don't have a concern with that?
Not the fact that I've been in communication over there with them, and it's legitimate. You're,
That second document that had this half clock tower that looked like it was literally drawn on by a child, what?
Didn't they submit us another one?
yeah, they submitted
Right.
it. I mean, how many times do you want them submitted before you accept
No,
it?
no, but
I
what
mean,
was,
I get hired-
who added that second? That wasn't the Village of New
Well,
London.
that's you assuming though, you know, so I mean,
You're telling me they did?
All
Well,
I'm saying is we
that's
have,
what I'm waiting
we
to,
have to,
that's what I'm waiting to find out, and when I do, and when I find out that it's authentic, then I will
basically,
add it.
but again, basically this is another grievance being caused by something that it shouldn't be caused by.
It should have been just a phone call, shouldn't
It should be an easy phone call. That should have been made, I mean, Brett's been hired for, I mean, he's already done with his 10 weeks of training, he's already an active officer. This should have been done a long time ago.
Well,
if it
first
wasn't-
and foremost, I should have been provided the correct untampered with documents when, in the first time, I shouldn't be tracking these down and having to get
We're never gonna
three
convince you.
sets.
We, again, just to let the audience know, we got an email from them with his hours and everything else like that. And then that wasn't good enough because it wasn't on the letterhead. So then they photocopied the letterhead top onto that. That wasn't good enough. So then we got another one because it was, each one's not accepted. They've been jumping.
But the body of the letter always stayed the same.
No, it did not
And
actually.
you had your guy go over there
It didn't-
and talk to them
it
in
didn't-
person. So, I mean, what was his decision?
Doug,
But,
it
okay,
didn't
but-
stay the same, and here's the thing, the person who certified the sick hours actually certified them in advance. How do you certify sick hours in advance? That just doesn't even make sense.
Okay, well,
Okay.
All right, so
mentioned
that's my
what he had
thing
to
is,
say.
yeah, I got a new guy who feels like he's being harassed
Right.
and he's fine with it.
And he is.
So.
Okay. All right. Anything
So I'm
else?
putting two things, cause since I don't have the opportunity to speak at this meeting, I'm putting two things on the record for the minutes. One is communication with paychecks, showing how they've been down a lot, and so, just putting that on. And the other is an answer to your email, Chuck, about Chief Minnick's vacation time.
Can I see it? Instead of hand it over there?
Sure.
Okay, so basically, this is saying, when you were berating my chief, and he said something about, I'll take 80 hours of my vacation.
I wasn't berating him.
Well,
We
you
can,
were-
wanna
you
listen to
were-
the whole
You were
meeting?
highly. So,
Chief Minnick
okay,
said.
hold on, stop, I'm not done. So basically, you're saying, now, did any of you guys vote to take his hours away?
no,
No. Also, now you're
Actually-
taking somebody at their word. How many times did you retire last year? I am stepping down 3 times. If we took you at your word, you wouldn't be here. So just because the chief is upset that you're berating him and harassing him,
He said
It
he
doesn't
had a
matter.
he actually says in here that he had a
it doesn't
nice
matter what he says.
conversation.
The trustees are the
other
ones
day.
who do his compensation.
there was zero, there was never a vote
There was
to
nothing.
approve him reducing his hours. It is never a legitimate situation. I cannot believe you even would go there. So.
Wait a minute, so in a meeting,
It doesn't
if
matter.
a chief,
We-
if somebody offers to.
No, you don't jump on them like that. Just like when the residents
didn't.
said, "Hey, I'll pay for something that they didn't need to pay for," and you're like, "Oh, here's the receipt." That's horrible.
I did no such
When
thing.
Mary offered to pay for Matt Ventura's
I didn't even have the
certificates
receipt
and
in my
everything,
possession. What
you
do
were like
know?
right on that. So
No,
again, he can.
absolutely untrue, Chuck. I
Okay,
didn't even have
This is
it.
a mute
Yeah.
vote. Did anybody
So-
vote on it that makes the decision?
I didn't
here?
vote,
No.
Well, Doug, you were
So
nodding
you
your
need
head.
to pay the guy.
Not in my head, are you kidding me? I can't even believe this
I mean, this is just
conversation.
another form of harassment to the police
There should be a
department.
motion.
You
There
wonder
should
why
be a
they give you a
second. There
no
should be-
confidence vote. They're evil.
Absolutely zero.
All right, we're done.
Okay. I move to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Christopher?
Aye.
Mr. Eastwood?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Meeting is adjourned
Aye.
at 9:13.
Thank you all for attending.
And I apologize.